Just saying, it's a crazy time. You can't afford not to like black people. You don't like black people enough, you could become one yourself. I'm not the only black man with a bunch of mug shots.
What happens when fame, fortune, and bad decisions collide? The fall of Shannon Sharpe has become one of the most talked about scandals in sports and entertainment, blending celebrity drama, legal battles, and public backlash into a cautionary tale. Once celebrated as an NFL Hall of Famer and a rising star in sports media, Shannon now finds himself jobless, humiliated, and cut off from a reported $100 million media deal. How did it all unravel so fast? It began with a $50 million lawsuit filed by OnlyFans model Gabriella Zuniga. The case ended in a costly settlement, but the damage to Shannon's reputation was immediate. ESPN, owned by Disney, severed ties with him, closing doors to major networks like ABC and Hulu. Fans and critics alike slammed him for hypocrisy after leaked texts and past comments about limiting his daughter's wedding budget resurfaced. Comedian Katt, who had warned Shannon about risky relationships, now says, "I told you so."
Shannon's connection was severed by ESPN, in case you missed it. After Shannon and Gabriella Zuniga, a model for OnlyFans, secured a $50 million settlement,
This story is about more than one man's mistakes. It raises bigger questions about accountability, career self-sabotage, and how quickly public opinion can turn. Was Shannon's downfall inevitable, or could it have been avoided? Let's take you through the whole story step by step and see exactly how everything went from the top of the world to rock bottom. Katt Williams' warnings in the race dating commentary. Katt Williams has never been afraid to speak his mind. In one of his conversations with Shannon Sharpe, Katt gave a warning that now feels almost like a prophecy. He told Shannon about the risks that come with dating white women, especially for black men in the public eye. Katt was not saying this to start drama or spread prejudice. His warning came from watching what has happened to other men in the entertainment industry. He pointed to real situations, like actor Jonathan Majors, to make his point clear.
Get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan
There
Majors.
you go, come on, Katt.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. And that's the truth of the matter, so I stayed away from that.
Jonathan Majors was at the top of his career. Then, in just a matter of days, allegations came out and his life turned upside down. Marvel Studios dropped him. His public image changed almost overnight. Katt used this example to show Shannon that fame can vanish in a moment when you are caught up in certain situations. Have you ever seen someone lose everything because of one decision? Monique, another well-known comedian, also had something to say. Her advice to Shannon was sharp and straight to the point. She told him to stop playing around and find someone who would truly love him. It was almost like she could see trouble coming. Why is it that so many people gave Shannon the same warning? Did they know something he didn't? Or did they see patterns he was ignoring? Katt made it clear that he thought white women could be as great as any other women. His point was not about race being better or worse. His point was about how quickly a situation can turn against a public figure. You could be Kang the Conqueror, he said, and they could take you down in 2 weekends. It was a colorful way to say that careers can be destroyed very fast. Do you think Shannon took this warning seriously at the time? Looking back, it seems like Katt and Monique were speaking from experience and observation. They were not just making jokes, they were trying to help someone avoid a path that could end badly. But Shannon did not follow their advice. Why do people sometimes ignore good warnings? Is it because they believe it will never happen to them? Now, with everything that has happened to Shannon, Katt's words sound more like a prediction than just casual talk. It leaves you wondering, if Shannon had listened, would things have turned out differently? The lawsuit and ESPN's firing of Shannon Sharpe.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe and ESPN have parted ways, a source tells CNN. The split between Sharpe and ESPN comes less than 2 weeks after he settled a sexual assault lawsuit filed against him. The Athletic was the first to report the split. In the lawsuit, an anonymous woman accused Sharpe of multiple instances of assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. Sharpe denied the allegations, calling the suit a shakedown. The lawsuit saw over $50 million in damages. On July 18th, the accuser's attorney announced a settlement had been reached, saying in a statement, quote, "Both sides acknowledge a long-term, consensual, and tumultuous relationship." Sharpe's team confirmed the terms but said he wouldn't comment further. Sharpe stepped away from ESPN during legal proceeding and had planned to return for NFL preseason. ESPN declined to comment on his exit or the settlement. Sharpe's attorney also did not comment on the split from ESPN.
What happens when a sports legend's off-the-field choices overshadow his entire career? That is exactly the situation Shannon Sharpe found himself in after settling a $50 million lawsuit with OnlyFans model Gabriella Zuniga. The settlement sent shockwaves through the sports world. ESPN, owned by Disney, quickly decided to cut all ties with Shannon. This decision was not just about the lawsuit itself, but about the public image and brand reputation ESPN wanted to protect. Why did ESPN move so fast to end the relationship with Shannon? The network made the decision shortly after the lawsuit settlement became public. They did not wait for the controversy to fade. Instead, they acted immediately, sending a clear message about their stance. For a company like Disney, which controls ESPN, image and trust with viewers are everything. Did they fear that keeping Shannon would damage their credibility with sponsors and fans? How did Shannon react to being let go so suddenly? Publicly, he expressed disappointment about the timing, but claimed to be at peace with the decision. His biggest frustration was that he had asked ESPN to delay the announcement until after his older brother, Sterling Sharpe, was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Shannon believed that announcing the firing before the event would overshadow Sterling's big moment. What does this say about loyalty in the sports media business? Shannon had been a major personality for ESPN, bringing in large audiences and creating memorable moments on air. Yet when controversy hit, the network made a clean break. Shannon even admitted that he apologized to his brother for the timing, knowing that the headlines about his firing would steal attention from Sterling's achievement. Is it fair to say that in the media world, relationships last only as long as there is no scandal, public backlash, and hypocrisy accusations? Shannon Sharpe is facing more than just career trouble. He is also dealing with a wave of public backlash. Many fans are angry after learning that he agreed to pay millions to Gabriella Zuniga in the lawsuit settlement. At the same time, people remember him saying that he would never spend more than $30,000 on his daughter's wedding. How can a father limit his own child's special day, yet hand over millions to someone he barely knew? The criticism grew even stronger when leaked text messages appeared online. In those messages, Gabriella allegedly charged him $25,000 for each cheat. This number shocked people. Why would anyone agree to pay such a huge amount for something so temporary? Was Shannon aware of how bad this would look if it ever went public? These texts painted a picture of a man who was careless with his money and blind to how others might use him. Social media wasted no time in calling him out. Users on X and Instagram accused him of being a hypocrite. They compared his generosity toward Gabriella with his strict budget for his daughter's wedding. One person wrote that he paid more for a young woman who saw him as a quick payday than for his own family's happiness. How could he not see the double standard? Did he think fans would forget his earlier comments? The conversation quickly turned from sports to morals. Fans began to question his values and decision-making. They pointed out that someone with his experience should know better. Some even suggested that he had lost touch with reality because of fame and money. Is this a case of a man being taken advantage of, or is it simply poor judgment on his part? The line between the two became blurry for many watching the drama unfold. Every new detail only added to the damage. The leaked texts, the settlement amount, and the contrast with his daughter's budget became part of the same embarrassing story. Public opinion turned sharply against him. Even those who once admired his work started to distance themselves. Could this level of backlash have been avoided if he had made different choices early on? Or was this the result of ignoring warning signs from people who tried to look out for him? The answers may never change the past, but they do show how fast public respect can disappear when actions fail to match words, financial fallout, and lost opportunities. What happens when one mistake costs you not just money, but an entire future? That is the question surrounding Shannon Sharpe's recent downfall. Before the lawsuit with Gabriella Zuniga became public, Shannon was reportedly in talks for a massive $100 media deal. This deal would have included his entire Shay Media network, which featured popular shows like Club Shay, Nightcap, and other growing platforms. How many people in the sports media world ever get an opportunity this big? Why was this deal so important for Shannon? It was more than just a paycheck. It was a chance to build his own media empire and control his content. The Shay network was gaining momentum, and fans were tuning in for his personality and unique style. Could this have been the moment when Shannon moved from being a broadcaster to a true media mogul? That possibility vanished almost instantly after the lawsuit hit the headlines. How much damage did the lawsuit really do to his career? Once the allegations and settlement became public, the perception of Shannon changed. ESPN cut ties with him, and because Disney owns ESPN, the firing likely closed the door to working with Disney-affiliated networks like ABC and Hulu. Would any major platform risk its reputation by signing him now? In the media world, image is everything, and once a public figure is tied to a scandal, the offers tend to disappear quickly. Could Shannon have recovered if the firing had not happened so soon? Some believe that if ESPN had given him more time to handle the controversy privately, he might have salvaged the deal or found another buyer. Others argue that the nature of the allegations made that impossible. Was the damage already done the moment the lawsuit became public? The financial fallout is staggering. Not only did Shannon lose his job and the potential $100 million deal, but he also harmed his ability to negotiate future contracts at the same level. Even if he starts his own projects independently, will sponsors and advertisers want to be connected to his brand right now? The combination of lost opportunities and a tarnished image may take years to overcome. In the end, the question remains: did Shannon's own decisions cost him his dream deal? Or was this simply a cruel twist of fate that came at the worst possible time? Katt Williams' "I told you so" and broader takeaways. What happens when someone warns you about trouble and you walk right into it anyway? That is exactly what Katt Williams says happened with Shannon Sharpe. Katt insists his advice was not just a general warning to men in the spotlight. He says he was speaking directly to Shannon. Looking back now, those conversations feel less like casual talk and more like a prediction of what was coming. Did Shannon truly hear the warning, or did he think it would never apply to him? Why is the public siding with Katt on this? Many people believe Shannon had everything he could want. He had money, fame, influence, and a growing media empire. Yet in the eyes of many fans, he threw it all away because of what they call dumb choices. Is it fair to say one mistake can erase years of hard work? Or is it that certain mistakes, when made in the public eye, carry a much heavier price? What deeper issues does this story bring up? Beyond the gossip and headlines, there are questions about accountability and personal conduct. Should public figures hold themselves to a higher standard knowing the level of attention on their every move? Or are they just as human as everyone else, bound to make mistakes under pressure? Shannon's case forces people to ask whether this was bad luck, poor judgment, or a mix of both. How does career self-sabotage happen? Often, it is not one big decision, but a series of small ones that lead to disaster. Shannon ignored multiple warnings from people who had nothing to gain except his well-being. Katt Williams and Monique spoke up. The signs were there. Why do so many successful people ignore advice from those who have been through similar challenges? Is it overconfidence, denial, or the belief that they are untouchable? Now, with Shannon out of ESPN, his $100 million deal gone, and his reputation damaged, Katt's "I told you so" rings louder than ever. This is not just about one man's fall. It is about the fine line between success and scandal in the entertainment world. It is about how fast public opinion can turn and how difficult it is to rebuild once trust is broken. The real question is whether Shannon will learn from this moment or repeat the same patterns that brought him here. What do you think? Was Shannon's downfall his own fault, or was he set up from the start? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button for more stories like this.